Welcome back to Inside Texoma. Once again, we are talking about New Year's resolutions, specifically finances, and really getting your budget under control, your finances under control, getting out of debt maybe, lots of different areas where you can benefit this new year. So, Gary, you were telling us before the break, about paying off your credit cards, of course. One thing, though, that you mentioned last year was setting aside money. So that way, a lot of us just got done with our Christmas shopping, and maybe some people are still paying for that or still feeling the pain from that. It shouldn't be that way, though. So you gave us a great tip, and I'd love for you to share that again, because I started putting it into action this year, and I thought it was really neat.
Exactly. When I was a kid, and that was a while ago, there were these things called Christmas clubs, where you used to go to the bank, and I remember you used to hand them $2 every week, and you actually went down to the bank and handed the teller $2 every week. They'd enter in this little passbook savings thing by hand. There was no computers back then. And at the end of 50 weeks, they gave you 52 weeks worth of savings. So you had like $104 to spend rather than just the $100 that you gave them at $2 every week for 50 weeks. And that way at Christmas time, the little kid had a whole lot of money.
Yeah.
I mean, it may have only been $1. It kind of depends on the age of the child. Well, adults can do this Christmas club as well. You know you're going to spend some money during the holidays.
Yeah. It's
going to happen. You know about how much you spent this year and last year and the year before. So you have an idea of like what the progression is. Whether it's $50 or $500 or $5,000, doesn't matter, but you know it's going to happen. Well, guess what? You have 12 months to save for it. Well, let's call it 10. Because you want to get shopping early so you get some of the early discounts and stuff around Thanksgiving and so you begin putting away some money. Each week, each month, each day, whatever works for you. It's usually best to do it on the same periodicity your paychecks tend to come in. But you just do it. And you may have a month where it just didn't work because something came up and you couldn't save the money. You can either double up the following month or you'll have it just a little bit less. But you know what? Instead of when you get to Christmas time or Hanukkah or whatever holiday you're celebrating, and you want to buy a gift for a loved one, you're not saying, oh, I really want to get them this nice wooden box or whatever. It's going to cost me $80, and I really don't have $80, but I really want to give it to them. So you're either going to be really disappointed with yourself and say, I could have given it to them, but I just didn't, or you're going to whip out the credit card and buy
charge it.
Okay? Either way is a problem. One is you weren't able to show your caring of that person the way you wanted. The other one is now you're probably going to be paying for this for the next 6 months.
Yeah.
What you can do instead is back up 10 months and had been putting away $10 a month, and at the end of 10 months you now have $100. You can freely buy that $80 box and then buy yourself something. It's very freeing. You don't have to worry, oh my goodness, can I afford it? Will it fit on the credit card? I'm going to have to pay this forever. No, you already have the money available to you. You know what your budget is for the holiday season.
I just thought that was a great tip and one that was pretty easy. And if you did miss a month, you said don't feel discouraged because that happens, right?
Yeah. It was like, a lot of us are on diets or should be on diets or whatever. And then we hit Thanksgiving or we get taken out to a really nice dinner and there's a cheesecake sitting there. And, don't feel guilty about that. You did it. It's over. Don't worry about it.
Start back again.
Do right the next day.
Yes, absolutely.
And really, we're seeing a progression here. First thing we did is figure out what our budget is. Where is our money going? So you have an idea of, are we doing good? Are we doing bad? Are we doing somewhere in between? And don't think of it as bad. Think of it as a room to improve.
Yeah.
Okay? And then we're trying to make sure that we get ourselves down to at least spending no more than what we're making. That was the next section, by not paying, not allowing bills to build up on the credit card, but paying the credit cards off each month, or at least getting closer to that point. And now we're looking at trying to prepare for an expense item way in advance. Whether it's a month in advance or a year in advance or 5 years in advance, we're saving a little bit each month so that when that expense comes that we're expecting to have happen, the money is there already.
And you have a real easy way to do that through 3 buckets, right?
Exactly. I have a little 3-bucket thing, and really it's just looking at where your money goes to. The first place most of your money goes to is, let's face it, it's a monthly expense.
Oh, yeah.
It's the rent, it's the electricity, it's the food, shopping at the grocery store, it's clothes. That's a regular ongoing expense. You'll know if you're going wrong there because you're going to get calls from people real quick if that messes up. But that's where the majority of your money goes. That's cash flow fast. Next place is the emergency fund. We always want to have a little bit of emergency fund because things happen that you're not expecting. And things happen that you cannot expect and you don't even expect to happen, but they do. It's called Murphy's Law, it's just called fate, it's called luck, it's called whatever, but things happen. And whether you have, a couple thousand or $5,000 or a few $100s for the emergency, you want to have something set aside for the emergency. But you know what? Most emergencies aren't really emergencies, because my definition of an emergency is something that you cannot anticipate that it's going to happen, when it's going to happen, or how much it's going to cost. Well, that might be an emergency trip to visit a sick loved one. You didn't expect them to get sick.
Sure.
You may not even known you had the loved one. It's a cousin that you didn't even realize, but the family needs to go and take care of that. But you know what? If you've got a car, you need to replace the tires now and then. You've got to get the oil changed on it. If you own a refrigerator or a washer or a dryer or any appliance at all in your house,
they're going to break.
Something's going to break down. And yeah, you may not have expected that washing machine to break down this year, but you know that you have to replace them every so often. So there should be a pool of money, that's that third bucket where you're building up, and this isn't for things that you can't expect to have happen. These are things you know are going to happen. You may not know exactly when, or you may not know exactly how much, but you know it's going to happen.
That's the third bucket.
That's the third bucket,
Okay.
and that's the one you want to begin with, probably a savings account at a bank or a credit union, to slowly build that up. Now, you can calculate some of these things by saying, okay, I have a washing machine, go online, figure out how long they approximately last, and it's usually, a day after the warranty expires.
Of course.
And divide that by the number of months and just begin putting away that money. Now, you can't do it all. You're going to find out if you add up all these things you're trying to save for, it exceeds your income. Well, I understand that, and that just means you need to work on your budget a little more and think about this a little more clearly and not put too many fudge factors on it. But realize that any step you make is going to get you closer to financial peace and a financial peace of mind.
And that, no price on that.
So, absolutely not.
All right. Well, Gary, we just appreciate all these tips, and I know we've covered a lot, but it's something you can even watch again, take some notes. We put all this online on our YouTube page. That way you can ultimately have, like Gary said, that financial peace of mind. We are going to take another quick break and come back with a little more information, so don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Inside Texoma. We are talking about New Year's resolutions, specifically financial resolutions. And Gary, we just kind of wanted to end the show today with some other thoughts, leaving people with some things just to start thinking about to also include in your financial plan.
Absolutely. And these are items that you're going to have to research more on your own, because obviously not enough time to cover them in a minute. But it's your investment pool, because one of the things you're saving for is perhaps your retirement, or you're retired and you're trying to figure out how to make the money last as long as you do. And so a periodic review of where your investments are these the right investments for what you're trying to do, for the goal you've got set for yourself? Do you even have the goal figured out? Most people plan their retirement by guessing how much they need and guessing whether they've reached it or not. Not the best plan. Your insurance. You know how your insurance agent always sends out a postcard once a year that says, we should review your insurance. Why don't you come in and review your insurance? Please review your insurance. And you think it's just a sales gimmick. Well, it's a sales gimmick, yes, but it's also there because guess what? Once a year, you should probably review your insurance. You've got car insurance, health insurance, house insurance. You may have a boat, a plane, a ski-doo, whatever. You've got all these insurances. Do you have the right coverage for you at this time? I don't know. When you're getting closer to retirement, there's long-term care insurance and some insurances you've never heard of before, umbrella policies, etc. And then there's your estate plan. This is like what happens if you happen to die.
Yeah.
And most of your viewers, by the way, shock, will die. And when they do, they probably have some loved ones or some loved organizations that they want to make sure continue beyond them. And it's the thing, the wills, the trusts, the powers of attorney, the powers of attorney for health care, the living wills, all of those little complicated things we really don't want to think about because it reminds us of our mortality, yet most of us have had family members who have gone through painful times like that, and paperwork was not found.
Right.
And if just a simple will had been there, so much could have been cleared up, so much money and time. And my goodness, I mean, these are people who are going through the worst times of their lives, and now they got to worry about bureaucracy.
Yeah.
You can save them so much of that. So these are just some of the areas that, you know, almost kind of like your little tick list of what you want to look at during the year. Don't try to do it all at once. We gave you enough today to get started on, but once you kind of get that budget and the savings and the credit cards all figured out, then you can begin approaching some of these other areas and start putting them on your list of things you're going to check periodically during the year.
Now let's say someone does want to go into that and get that plan together. Where do they even start? Where do they need to go?
Here's where you actually have a plethora of experts that can help you. First, a lot of people want to do it themselves, either because they really don't want to pay anybody or because they just like doing that kind of stuff. Well, online is a wonderful thing. You can type in things like, you know, estate plans, wills, Roth IRAs, investments, 401ks. If you're trying to figure out how to invest, say, how do I invest my 401k? And you're going to get a whole lot of sites. Now, half of them are going to be ads to you. You know, a quarter of them probably have information that's a little false and stuff. But if you like doing things yourself, you're used to digging down through that information and finding the kernels of truth you need. Otherwise, yeah, if you're looking for investments, you might find somebody like myself, a financial planner or investment advisor, a stockbroker perhaps, for tax work, because there's a lot of tax planning involved. I mean, it's starting a tax season again. April 15th is not that far away.
No,
I mean,
it's not.
It may seem like, oh my goodness, it's a half year away. No, it's about 4 months. So you need to be talking to your CPA or tax preparer, find out about how you can do better in your taxes. An attorney can help you with estate planning issues and such. Your insurance agent with insurance. So there's people out there that you can pay to take a lot of this load off of you and to help guide you. But if you don't want to pay them or you can't afford to pay them right now, that's fine. There's a lot of free information out there on the internet, just a plethora of sites out there.
That's good information. So don't let the fact that you can't afford that stop you from getting this done.
Absolutely.
Well, Gary, we just want to say thanks again for all of these wonderful tips. Look forward to putting more of these into work this year and letting you know, of course, how I did as well. So thanks again. We appreciate all of your advice and, of course, your time this morning.
My pleasure.
And we also want to say thanks to you, Texoma, for joining us this morning. Remember, you can take another look at all of those tips on our website, newschannel6now.com. Once you're there, just click on the Inside Texoma tab. We hope you have a wonderful day, and as always, we'll see you back here next Sunday morning for Inside Texoma.